I don't spend hours and hours looking for reference in the internet when I'm going to draw. This app fixed that, and I'm going to walk you through it and show you all the features that you have and show you why I think it is so useful. Let's begin. So the first thing that I get when I open the app is like this cut-off sphere, like Lumis stuff. And then I think the first one are based on the Lumis technique. Then you have like with the jaw, and then you have like different models from the Lumis method inspired there. And it's really nice. Like you have the lines of the proportions, like the circle of the ear and where to put the ear and all that juicy stuff that you probably want to know and what to have for when you are learning all this basic stuff. If you are trying to get into portraits or heads or something similar to that. Then we jump into more like poly head. It's really nice. They go from like simple to more complex poly heads. And I find that really useful because, for example, when I started a drawing, I only need this to know the perspective of the drawing of the head that I'm going to draw. Because after that, I can just put the rest of the features little by little there and rotating it and knowing exactly which place goes what goes, you know, like the nose, for example, goes here. So it goes from this poly head, and then you have like the most complex version from the male, and then you have also the female version, which is this one. This is actually really useful. You can see more 3D stuff about all the facial features and stuff that you're probably interested in when you're learning all this kind of stuff. Then you have the Asaro head, which is again extremely useful. Me, for example, I have been trying to buy an Asaro model in real life. I have only the skull here, which I strongly recommend. If you're trying to learn all this type of stuff, you can just grab it and, you know, learn how things look in the perspective, how light affect. That is really handy. So if you would like to have one of these, I put the link below, affiliate of course, if you would like to help the channel. And I was trying to look for the Asaro head online, maybe Amazon or something like that. I couldn't find a single piece of that. So having this one is a lifesaver, because we'll see later in this app you can also tweak the lights, for example, but the use of the Asaro head is a simplified version or a simplified map of the head to put light and shadow, to know how to place light and shadow depending of the position of the light source. So yeah, definitely really useful. It's one of the ones that I use the most. Then you have the Riley method inspired, like you have two models, males and female, inspired on the Riley method. I'm not really that much familiar with the Riley method. I'm more familiar with the Lumi head. I mean, if you're one of those that use the Riley method, then this is really useful for you. This one for me is like it's there maybe for the future once I learn more about that. But then you have like more anatomical stuff. Then we jump into the skull. This is a very simplified poly, like low poly skull model that you have here. If you want to, again, to study like planes, how planes face light, in which direction they are facing and all the stuff. And then you have like more realistic version of human skull. I think this is the male. And then you have the female, you know, more soft, a little bit smaller, yeah, less squarey, let's say. But then you jump into a little bit of muscles, and what I actually like from this one is not that much of muscles and stuff. It's actually, I think it's this one. Yeah, like this one, for example, I really like it because you can see where the spine is connecting to the skull. And you can see that in every angle, which is, I find, really cool. And especially you can go back and forth between having the muscles here to know where the actual flesh goes into, like connecting the neck with the cranium. And you also have like the bony part. So you can go back and forth between these two. This is what I discovered lately when I was checking up the models here. I discovered that you can actually go and see the neck bones, the spine connecting to the skull, and I find that amazing. That's something that I've been struggling with a lot of times, and now I can finally check it here. After the anatomical proportions, also a nice difference that you have from here is you have the nose, the cartilage of the nose, And then you have also the muscles without the cartilage of the nose, so it will be just the bones, bone bones. That's actually really nice. For those that want to do gory stuff, might be really good for you. But yeah, oh, and then you also have this one. It's the same thing with both sides with just the cartilage, and I'm guessing that's the fatty stuff. I'm not sure, I need to have more knowledge about this. Quick thing before I forget, I don't know honestly if the app is also in Android. I only know that this is for iOS. You can put it on Mac, on iPhone and iPad. I saw it though in Google Play, so maybe it is available for Android, but I honestly didn't research enough for that. Moving on, we have realistic models, and here you have, oh, this is a new one actually, or not? Yeah, I think that's a new one. Well, I heard also that they are updating the app regularly between months, some months in between, and they add new content to that. At first, the app had only 3 female models, the African, the Asian, and the European, so being these ones here. And after, that's a little spoiler there, after a while they added also the African male version, the Asian version, and the European version of the male models. You also have like these Greek thingies here, these Greek statues that you can put if you want to do some statues studies. You also have like Greek, or you have Greek statues here. I hope they're Greek because I've been saying the word a lot of times already. Yeah, this is actually really nice when you position the light on top of that later, and this is probably one of the things that I'm going to use the most when I'm starting to study light. I haven't jumped on that yet, but yeah. So what else do I find amazing from this app? And this is actually one of the major points for this, is that aside from changing the model, you can customize the model. And that means you can have guiding lines like this, which it tells you also the perspective grid. You can have how many grids do you want. This is really useful for positioning the angle of the head to know exactly where are the features pointing on, like we talked in the last video about it. But you have like the line of the hairline, the line of the eyebrows, the line of the nose, lips, chin, all the stuff. And this one is telling you exactly where are those lines for free. I mean, maybe not for free if you have to pay for this model, but you know what I mean. Like, you have all these juicy lines here to tell you where exactly are you going to draw your stuff. And that's for guiding lines. I'm going to turn off this quickly because I want to show you something else. You have also tilt head and the expression modification stuff. You can move this, man. You can move this model. Like if he's tilting, if he's moving to one side, if he's like, huh? Something like that. Like he's like, that's so freaking cool. Like, look at that. Like you can put it looking on the downside or up, like that's looking up or down or completely down, or if he's twisting the head to one side or the other, or if it's like turning to looking to one side or to the other side. Like you can get really creative doing this type of stuff. Like imagine she's like looking at one light that is on top, and then she see magic, something above the sky. I mean, it's on the head. You get more expressive with hands and all the body and all the stuff, but you get what I mean. Like you can make some story and fit this to the story, to the illustration that you're making, and it's so smooth. Damn, I love this. Then aside from that, you also, like, you can position the head like this, and you also can modify the expression. Like if she looks like Demon is going to kill her brother in the sky, and then she's like angry about it, or she's disgusted because someone puked from the balcony, or she's happy because the sun is going out, or she's sad because it's raining, or she's afraid of a monster that is on the ceiling, or surprised because again, and you can mix those expressions. That's really cool too. You can mix surprise with scare, and then you obtain something really weird, or maybe sad, and then you have the screen, but then she's happy at the same time, and then she's disgusted and she's angry, and what the f I'm watching right now. But yeah, you get my point. You can mix expressions, and that's, I mean, if you don't abuse of it, you can really get something quite believable with this type of stuff. That's so crazy, oh my God. But yeah, you can get really believable stuff with all these features here. And not only that, like after you, let's say, she's kind of surprised of something, you can refine the expression later, like moving the eyebrows. This is something that I found that it's a little bit buggy, is you like, I wish the circles of the expression move to the eyebrows, like not to the eyebrows, move to the actual place where you are moving the stuff. But for example, this one is the one side of the eyebrows. I'm guessing it's like middle, and then left eyebrow will be the left side, and then right side will be the right eyebrow. Yeah, it's exactly like that. But yeah, the point is you can move this around and create your own personalized expression doing these things. And then you also have the reset button. If you are, wait, does it? Okay, there's no control seat, so be careful with that. If you really thought that your thing was already on point. So let's make a random expression right now. Then you can combine all this stuff. You can also move the eyes to look to one part. That's so freaking cool, oh my God. You can move the eyes to the point, to the part that you're trying to look for. Obviously you have its limits, but that's actually really scary. And yeah, you can even the nose, oh my God. Oh, nice. I really love this app. So you have all these like expressions, and then you can, after you take the expression that you want, you can, I don't know if when you change the model, it applies the expression. That's something that we're trying out right now. No, it doesn't. Yeah. So pick your model, and then the twist, the tilting of the head is applying to it, but the expression is safe to the model that you're putting on it. Yeah, I mean, that's okay for me. I can always choose the model from the beginning and then commit to that. But yeah, you can, after you're happy with the expression, the model, and the tilting and everything of your head, you can go to light. And we have two options here. You can customize the direct light. You can put up to 3 different spotlights, moving adjusting the intensity of the light to create different kind of effects. Like for example, if we are going to make this a little bit creepy, you can also see where exactly the light it is. Like this is in this point here on the right. And here you can see how it's moving in real time and affecting, like if we put it down like this is exactly the vibe that I was actually going for. Like if it's more unease, creepy, or something scary going on, you can put the light off the downside, which is really awkward for the human eye. We're really used to top lights because of the sun, and most of the lights that we use are from the top most of the time. So yeah, like you can create this type of effects, like put in a really intense light, or if you want it a little bit more soft, you can put it a little bit further away from the person. Then you can move it from right to left, up, bottom. Okay, so now that I'm happy with the light source, like where's the light position, I'm going to change the color. You can change the color, yes. And I want this to be red, and you know, like in a spaceship when the lights are, when there's like an alarm or something is going on, like a monster is crawling on the vent, like that space or something like that. Then you have that. And you can also adjust environmental light, which is for 3 of them. You have like sunrise, and this would change the color of the shadows basically because there's ambient light. I don't know, I'm checking right now if it's, yeah, I mean, I'll say it's actually, yeah, the ambient light, but it's not like, it's ambient light, but it's like all over the model, all around over the model ambient light. There's like no, if you like bust it up completely, you see like it's not a directional light, it's all over, like it's the light that is bouncing all over around the room, I'll say. Because you still have some kind of ambient occlusion on the nose, eyes and mouth. But yeah, this will be basically how dark your shadows are, if you think about that like that way. And this is actually getting the vibe that I wanted. If you put it like this. And then you have noon, sunset, and sunrise. And if you see it, like it's changing the colors of the shadow basically. So you have like a more orange for the sunset, more like a blue violet thing, I'll say, for the noon, more blue actually, and then more like yellow bluish light for the sunrise, which is a little bit more with variety. And then you have for spotlight, that's something else that I wanted to show you. You can change the spotlight, like you can use another spotlight here, for example, if you want to do something like a different effect. I want this from the back. Let's see if I can, yeah, you kind of see what I'm trying to do here, right? I'm trying to create kind of a rim light for the model, like to make it look a little bit more 3D and more, you know, it's a little bit more aesthetic, I'll say. And maybe if I change the light source to something more bluish. Yeah, you can also reduce the intensity of the light with just putting it black. But yeah, anyways, it's like something you can experiment with to make the reference, to create the reference that you need. And that's what I find is so freaking cool. Like that's why I find this app that is so freaking cool, because you can personalize your reference for your needs, and the possibilities that you have are almost limitless. Like the only thing that I think limits you is the models that you have. You have three types of ethnicities. Like you have ethnicities. You have three types of human beings. You have Africans, you have Asian, and you have ethnicities. And you have Europeans, so which I think is enough for variety. You're not copying this guy, you're only taking the reference for your needs, right? So it's, for me, it's enough. And and there's something else about the app that I'm going to use later for my next video, which for the models you have humans and you have part of the humans. You have the same stuff that we were looking before, you have it, but for sections of the person. So you have like different part of the models that we saw before, just focusing on those parts. If you want to just focus on the eyes, to know how something looks, how the eyes look in different angles, what's the 3D. You also have like a low poly version of that. And yeah, and you can use all this stuff for studying, for referencing, for like ears, for example. There's an ear here, you can zoom in or move it around with 2 fingers on the camera. You can also rotate it with 2 fingers. And yeah, like that's something else that if you want to take a note of that. Like I said, there's not too much variety, but I think it's enough variety. Like it's enough for me to just put the idea that I want to put for my illustration, my drawing, my portrait, or whatever that I want to do. Because you have like a pointy ear, nose, you have a pointy nose, you have a small nose, you have a more male nose. So for me, plenty, honestly. And you also have the lips, same stuff, different type of lips, low poly lips, male lips, female lips, you have lips. And also one last thing that you can do with this is you can, for example, let's take the African lady that we did before. You can save your scene with the lights, the pose of the model that you use for this one. You can save all that for, like, let's say, creepy light. I hope I'm spelling that right. So you have, and then you can just go and load your scene. Like for example, I have this one. This is the one that I was using for the drawing of Karlak for my 100 head challenge. The one that I used for Phoenix in the 100 head challenge. And yeah, this is probably another one that I was using for that. So I'm using this, okay? It's really, really nice. It works. It has a lot of features and I cannot recommend it enough. But everything that I just show you here in this video is basically useless if you don't know how to draw a head. So if you want to learn to, go watch this video.